Hello. It's been a long time. A few months, almost 3 months since I've even really thought about making any sort of content. I am in Washington State. I traveled to one community so far, was there for a few months. I've stayed with a friend, gone to a retreat, and now staying with another new friend on their own personal farm. It's mostly like food forestry, and then there's some chickens and a cow and a bull and rabbits. Yeah, so I've just been chilling here for about a week and trying to figure out what I want to do next, where I want to go next. I've put out a lot of things into the universe and really taking stock of what I want and what I want a community to look like for me and what feels supportive of how I am as a being. And that's been pretty hard to articulate, so I've been really trying to journal and actually journaling, not just trying, to really find what I want at my core, which is a big challenge, especially when you have all these shoulding voices in your head, like you should just do this and you should just do that. All that conditioning really comes through, and it's tough. It's tough to turn that voice off and listen to what your body is saying or your higher self is saying. So I'm really working on managing what voice is my inner voice and what voice is something else that doesn't even belong to me, that I can let go. And I've been thinking about some of my beliefs and what I think the world is shifting towards with the new earth phenomena, which is something I subscribe to. I know I'm a soul that's here to experience a lot of different types of pain and growing through that pain and sharing with others about that pain and talking to people who are experiencing very similar pain and kind of turning that into purpose. And a lot of what I'm getting and what's been really prevalent in my mind is that the outside, real world where you are a consumer and there's lots of stores and there's lots of crap to buy available that nobody actually needs. All of it is just a waste of time, pretty much. We don't need 90% of the stuff that we have. And I recently saw a video where it was you're not on some pedestal, or you're not better than anyone because you want less. And sometimes I do feel that way with my ego. I'm also really working through a really in-depth chunk of my ego death, which has been really great. But it's not even that. It's more what do we do with all this stuff? How, when you go camping and you're supposed to leave no trace, how in the world could we possibly do that with the stuff that we buy? There is just so much stuff. And there's things that I consider to be extremely valuable. You give me a glass jar and that holds way more value to me than a piece of jewelry. You can reuse it, you can put all kinds of things in it. It's a container, it's a storage thing, it's got multiple uses. So if you're living somewhere in a community, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of glass jars around. If you're a homesteading type of community that enjoys not purchasing stuff that's in a container that gets thrown away, all the plastic that we buy. And I just my brain works okay, so there's a grocery store here, and then there's a grocery store down the street, and then there's another grocery store down the street, and then there's another grocery store down that street, and there's just freaking grocery stores everywhere, and every single one of those grocery stores is full of food, like chocked full of food. And so much of that food there's just so much waste. There's so much food getting thrown away. And the idea of like that food being tossed because we're not buying it as consumers at the grocery store, and then having people that don't have any food and children that are dying from malnutrition literally drives my world peace brain insane. Like, I really do resonate with being a world peace babe. Like, when I was in Girl Scouts, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on one of my other videos here, but when I was in Girl Scouts, we had to just like design a patch for the council for like the next 10 years. And my patch design was a bunch of people, all different colors. Like, I just did all the colors of the rainbow, holding hands over the earth. And it's just like, I've always been a world peace babe. Like, I've always wanted nothing but peace for everybody. And that's like me as a world, like, big picture thinker. That's my ADHD, like, systems brain. Like, if we just take this food and give it to these people, or the top 1%, you know, all money is equal, or there is no money and we just like trade for things, then everyone would have equal access to resources that they need. And I'm just like looking for people who think this way. Like, that's literally, I want to work and be a part of some kind of collaborative team of people building some sort of community. I really want it to be neurodivergent and queer. I'm also really wanting to travel around in a van with go get my cat in Chicago because I miss her like crazy, and bounce around to different communities to experience them. And then at the same time, I still want to build my own. So I think I'm doing both of these things at the same time. Then there's also the fact of like needing money to get some sort of vehicle. And that sometimes puts me at a hard stop of like fully manifesting it in my reality because there's doubt. But I guess that's like my first small steps to reaching this overarching huge theme and goal of like world peace, which is like, you know, so it seems impossible even though I can see it clearly. I can see exactly what we have to do to get there. And it's hard for me to articulate it because it's like all in my brain and it's like a download from above. So it's just like trying to explain it out in the world is really hard for me. But it really is so simple. And the thing that's been really getting me lately is like how difficult we make our lives, how hard humans have made our lives, and the separation and the competition and the overbuying and the burning bridges and the no communication and all of the ways that we function is so not sustainable, and it's so just wrecking us as a species. Like, we're literally drilling ourselves into the ground. And I'm also thinking about like just drilling the ground in general from that, and just the greed that exists and only focusing on me, and just how prevalent, like, the reason why narcissism is such a hot word right now and is everywhere is because it's literally everywhere. Like, pretty much even people who, like, anyone who has an ego and has been conditioned a certain way or has like DNA, you know, programming from birth even, and depending on what family you're born into and whatever, it's prevalent everywhere. Like, I notice stuff with myself, like, even though I have been a victim of narcissism, I also have tendencies, depending on the dynamic with whichever person I'm interacting with, have narcissistic tendencies. And it all comes down to really noticing these things about yourself and having the awareness. And even if you aren't making a choice that actively changes that for you, you're still making baby steps, just having that awareness and at least knowing what you're doing, being aware of what you're doing, and then maybe you are just showing up differently in different connections. I'm really going through this time of like having being lonely, because it's like I have pretty much not expressed my needs and wants or how I'm actually feeling about a situation with someone, and I just go along and go along and go along until I can't go along anymore because it's so inauthentic and so unaligned that I end up hurting them and ghosting and doing all of these things. So I'm really like learning how to show up in a healthy way for myself and then for others, and finding authentic connections that really do align with who I am at my essence, at my core. And this has been such a journey. Like, I learned so much in that community I just came from, and the friendships I developed there, and just how I show up in these relationships and how I can take accountability for the way I've treated people and the way I've treated myself and have self-betrayed. If you've been hearing random noises this whole time, it's because there's a lot of chickens and animals in the area because there's other farming people, and they literally sound like screaming children. And I'm sure anyone who's experienced living on a farm knows that, but you know, this is really my first time being around this many chickens. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with being a world peace babe. And just trying to figure out next steps. I am just taking it day by day and doing at least one thing per day that makes me proud of myself. And yesterday, that was literally like cooking myself food, making banana bread, doing my laundry, and taking a shower. Like, that was my day, you know? And I'm sleeping a lot, and I feel like I'm going through a lot of different transformations and energetic waves of just upgrading my DNA and everything. So it's been a lot, and I just got my period too, which is like, it's not my favorite to have my period, so I'm a little cranky. But other than that, things are going well. I'm really figuring out me. Really sitting with me. And I hope that this reaches who it needs to reach, because I really want to find people who resonate with this world peace stuff. I really do. Where are you? Okay, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna stop it here. But I'm just, yeah. Okay.